And my concluding point is this, ladies and gentlemen. There's another truth. If the government has any single sacred responsibility, is to care for those who we sent to war, who come back in bad shape. It is the single most sacred responsibility a nation has. And we are not taking care of the kids that are coming back. We are not taking care of them. I've introduced today, and I'm talking about, I'll not take the time now, but I'll give you all copies of it to the extent you have an interest in it, what I call a new contract with American veterans. And it lays out in stark detail what we're not doing and what we must do. And you're all going to say, well, Biden, it costs money. Yeah, it costs money. But tell me whether or not the cost of what I'm proposing, which will be somewhere less than $1 billion, does not have a higher moral value than making sure those of you who make over $435,000 a year get another $85 billion tax break this year. Tell me what's important. My dad used to have an expression. He'd say, don't tell me what you value, show me your budget. I'll tell you what you value. Show me your budget. I'll tell you what you value. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to make a contract right now with the American people and make it formally. Stiglitz won the Nobel Prize for Economics, estimated the total cost of this war will be over $1,400 billion. You know why? Because 70% of these kids we're bringing home needing long-term care would be dead if it had been in our war, Vietnam, or the World War II, or Korea, because of the incredible triage capability of our men and women who are medical personnel, and you ought to visit these hospitals. It is staggering what they can do. But guess what? The vast majority of the people we're bringing home would have been dead, but now they're coming home with traumatic brain injury and require expensive treatment for the rest of their lives, 10, 20, 30 years. And I want to make sure no one misunderstands what Joe Biden as president is going to be like. Because if I only have $10 to spend, and you tell me it costs $9 to meet our obligation to these vets, I'm going to spend all $9 before I spend a penny on any of you. I'm going to spend all $9 and then before I spend a penny on health care, before I spend a penny on highways, before I spend a penny on education. Because ladies and gentlemen, they're the only one making any sacrifice now. None of us are making any sacrifice unless you have a child, a loved one that's in Iraq or Afghanistan. What sacrifice are we making? We were told we're being taken to war that's going to be a generational war. And on the way, we're going to give you the biggest tax cut in the history of America. We're going to ask nothing of you. Folks, we have a sacred responsibility. I believe no presidential campaign should be about stating front end at the head end what you stand for. So when you're elected, no one can say you didn't tell me. No one can say you didn't tell me. We need a new contract with these veterans. We owe it to them. We owe it to ourselves. Let me conclude by saying that I'm always kidded by my colleagues because I'm always quoting Irish poets. They think I do it because I'm Irish. That's not the reason I do it. I do it because of the best poets. And my favorite poet is a guy named Seamus Heaney. And Seamus Heaney wrote a poem that he won the Nobel Prize for Poetry in the mid-90s called The Cure at Troy. And there's a stanza in the poem that I really think represents where the heart of the American people are right now. They're not afraid to take these issues on. And the poem, the stanza goes like this. It says, history teaches us not to hope on this side of the grave, but then, once in a lifetime, that longed-for tidal wave of justice rises up, and hope and history rhyme. The next President of the United States of America has the most incredible opportunity to change the direction of the world and reinvigorate the middle class in this country. No one has had this opportunity since the days of the Depression and Franklin Roosevelt. Because out of every significant tragedy this country's ever faced, that's been the time when great leaders have moved us in great strides forward. This country is ready to care for the veterans, to care for this country, and to reestablish our place in the world. That's why I'm running for president. As they say in my neighborhood, look me over. You like what you see, help out. If not, vote for the other guy or woman. But look me over. Thanks for the opportunity. I'd be happy to answer questions.